got a Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/home select. rsrlinks.com/home select. Now, we want to empower you, our listeners, to achieve your financial goals, whether you're a first-time home buyer, a seasoned homeowner, or planning for retirement. We've got you covered. Today, we're tackling a topic that can bring stress and anxiety to many: debt. But I'm here to tell you, you're not alone, and there are strategies to regain control. Have you ever felt that weight of debt on your shoulders? Maybe you're facing a mountain of credit card bills, medical expenses, or other financial obligations. It can be overwhelming, and you might feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. You might be worried about creditors taking legal action, or maybe you're already dealing with calls from debt collection agencies. But here's the good news. You have options. You have rights. And one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is negotiating with your creditors. That's right. You can often work with your creditors to find solutions that make your debt more manageable. Now, why should you negotiate with your creditors? There are several key benefits. First and foremost, it can prevent creditors from taking more drastic actions like pursuing lawsuits. Nobody wants that hanging over their head. Negotiating allows you to find a solution that works for both you and your creditor. It's about finding that middle ground. More importantly, negotiating can lead to a more manageable repayment plan. This can significantly reduce financial strain, giving you the breathing room you need to stabilize your overall financial situation. In some cases, creditors might even agree to reduce the total amount you owe, especially if you can pay a lump sum. Ultimately, negotiating with creditors can be a game changer, can help prevent further damage to your credit score and pave the way for rebuilding your financial health. It's about taking that first step toward a brighter financial future. Now, I know negotiating with creditors can seem intimidating. It's natural to feel a bit unsure and anxious. But with the right approach, the right knowledge, you can be successful. So let's dive into some strategies that can empower you throughout this process. Number one, determine if your negotiation is the right move for you. Before jumping into negotiations, take a step back and look at your overall financial picture. Is it better for you to try and pay off your debt as quickly as possible, or would you benefit from negotiating a more manageable payment schedule or even a lower payment amount? If your debt has already been turned over to a collection agency, keep in mind that they are not obligated to agree to a payment plan, but it does not hurt to ask. Number two, make sure the debt is actually yours. This might seem obvious, but it's crucial. Validate the debt. Mistakes happen, and unfortunately, so does fraud. It's possible the debt isn't even yours, so take the time to verify it. Request a debt validation letter from the debt collector. This letter will provide proof that the debt is legitimate. While you're validating the debt, also check to see if it falls within the statute of limitations. If it's outside that period, collectors cannot legally pursue you for it. Number three, don't negotiate without knowing what you can realistically afford. If you decide that settling the debt is the best option, you need to determine what you can realistically afford to pay. Take a hard look at your budget. What are your essential expenses and what can you cut back on? Go into negotiations with a firm number in mind. Remember, lump sum settlements are often less expensive overall than long-term monthly repayment plans. Number four, understand your rights. Knowledge is power. The Federal Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, FDCPA, protects you from certain actions by creditors and debt collectors. They are not allowed to harass you or abuse you, which includes threats, obscene language, or repeated phone calls. They can't deceive you about the amount you owe or any potential legal consequences of not paying. They can't contact you at inconvenient times like before 8 a.m. or after 9 p.m., and they can't contact you at work if you've asked them not to. Finally, they cannot discuss your debt with anyone else, like your friends or family, without your permission, and they can't take unfair legal actions against you without following the proper procedures. You also have the right to information about your debt, such as the original creditor's name and the amount you owe. Knowing these rights will help you protect yourself throughout the negotiation process. Number five, keep your story straight. It's common to fall behind on debt due to difficult life circumstances. However, remember that the people you're speaking with at credit collection agencies or lenders Are employees doing their job? They're not counselors. Provide a concise explanation of why you haven't been able to pay your debt as agreed, and avoid getting overly emotional or dramatic. If you're in a tough situation, make that clear and explain what you're doing to get back on track. It can be helpful to write down a few key sentences to rehearse before you talk with your creditor. This can help you stay focused, avoid being overly emotional, and ensure you're able to clearly discuss the details and assert your rights. And most importantly, always tell the truth. Number 6, ask questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions. Unfortunately, or understanding the specifics of your debt is essential for effective negotiation. You have the right to know where the debt originated, how the total amount was calculated, and what fees are included. Ask about the origin of the debt, whether it's from credit cards, medical bills, or personal loans. Ask for a breakdown of the total amount owed, including any interest, late fees, or other charges. The more you understand about your debt, the better equipped you'll be to tailor your negotiation strategy. Number 7, take detailed notes. Conversations about debt can be stressful or overwhelming, so keep a pen and paper handy to take notes during every communication with a debt collector. Write down the full name of the person you spoke with, the time of the call, how long it lasted, and what you discussed. Also, make sure to document any instances of inappropriate behavior, as this creates a written record of potentially illegal collection practices. Number 8, read and save your mail. Don't let important financial documents get lost in the shuffle. Be careful. Be carefully reviewing your mail. You can stay informed about your debt situation, identify potential opportunities for negotiation. When you receive a bill or notice from a creditor, read it carefully. Pay attention to deadlines, interest rates, and late fees. Saving your mail is also a valuable tool in the negotiation process. Keeping a record of your correspondence with creditors allows you to reference specific details such as previous payment arrangements or promises made by the creditor. This documentation can be helpful if you need to dispute charges or escalate a dispute to a credit bureau or a consumer protection agency. Number 9, talk to creditors, not just collection agencies. If possible, try to negotiate with your original creditor before they sell your debt to a collection agency. Dealing with the original creditor might help you preserve your credit score. Your original creditor may also have programs to assist you in getting back on track with your payments. Number 10, get any agreement in writing. This is absolutely crucial. Get any settlement or repayment plan in writing as soon as negotiations are complete. Do not make any payments until you have the agreement in writing. If you pay before receiving written confirmation, you could run into problems later. Unfortunately, some consumers end up being pursued for the same debt twice. Number 11, stay friendly and professional. Debt is a sensitive topic, and it's easy to get emotional. It's easy to get emotional when you're dealing with creditors and debt collectors. However, try to remain friendly and stay focused on the issue at hand. Remember that debt collectors cannot come into your home and harass you, and they cannot take away the resources you need for basic living. If they make such threats, end the conversation and report them instead of getting into a heated argument. Number 12, put the past behind you and focus on the future. Once you've settled a debt, try to move forward with a positive outlook. Continue to make your other payments on time to avoid falling into the same situation again. Keep a close eye on your credit reports to ensure that old debts don't reappear as new collection accounts, and make sure to save all records of your debt settlement so you can prove that you no longer owe the money. Now, they might have some questions, so let's address a couple of frequently asked. What percentage should you offer to settle a debt? No magic number. It depends on several key factors, including the type of debt, your financial situation, and the creditor's willingness to negotiate. A common starting point is to offer 50% of the amount owed, but you might need to offer more or less depending on specific circumstances. Does negotiating with creditors actually work? Yes, it absolutely can. Many people have successfully negotiated with their creditors, demonstrating a genuine willingness to pay and providing a clear explanation of your financial situation can significantly increase your chances of a successful negotiation. What's the lowest a creditor might settle for? Tricky question. The answer, it depends. Some creditors might be willing to accept a very low settlement, especially if they believe they won't be able to collect in full amount through other means. However, every creditor has different strategies and policies, So there's no one size fits all. Should you say to creditors, what should you say to creditors to settle a debt when you're negotiating? It's important to be polite, respectful, and assertive. Clearly state that you intend to settle the debt and honestly explain your financial situation. Offer a specific settlement amount and proposed payment plan if necessary. Be prepared to listen to the creditor's counteroffer and be willing to compromise. Remember, a successful negotiation usually involves give and take from both sides. Negotiating with creditors can be a very effective way to regain control of your finances by taking the initiative to negotiate. You can potentially reduce debt, improve your credit score, and relieve financial stress. It's about empowering yourself to take charge. And as a certified financial liability advisor, I help families build wealth through strategic debt management. If you're feeling overwhelmed by debt and don't know where to start, I can help you navigate this process. Remember, you don't have to face this alone. That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrlinks.com/home select, rsrlinks.com/home select.